Hey, it's me, Hannah. Okay, we are officially in a con crunch. I am less than 2 weeks out from DragonCon and I haven't even started my last cosplay. So buckle on up because I feel like this is about to be a whirlwind of a video. The cosplay I'm working on today is Scanlan Shorthalt of Critical Role's Legend of Vox Machina. I adore this character in both the D&D actual play from CR as well as in the animated series on Amazon. He's witty, he's charming, and his musical delivery of some of the most devastating cutting word spells as a bard has always made me laugh. To get started on the cosplay, let's run through a list of what we need. Right off the bat, we need a shirt, vest, and pants, all of which I'm going to sew myself using some free sewing patterns from Mood. I'm also gonna need a belt, and to style a wig, and some shoes that I've already ordered. Yeah, that's totally doable, right? Let's start off with a shirt. I'm using the Wren shirt pattern from Mood, specifically using the thinner or more traditional looking sleeve. Although I adore the flouncy sleeve, I'm definitely gonna save this pattern for something down the line. The only adjustments I'm really gonna need to make here are to kind of increase the size of the collar, which I can do just by elongating it, I think, and then basically remove the front. Let's see how this works out.
I used a crepe back satin for my fabric, and although I originally considered using the satiny side as my facing, because that feels very Scanlan, the crepe back side actually had a better color match, so I wore the satin on the inside. This fabric choice for the shirt itself ended up being a mistake. DragonCon takes place in Atlanta in August, so I would have been much better off with a more breathable material. What made things hotter was my choice to use actual leather for my sleeve cuffs. This choice was made to ensure I could match my cuffs to my belt, but I would have been much better off with a black linen or cotton fabric. Using the satin material meant I had to be more careful while sewing. For example, I stay-stitched the darts rather than using pins so that I would be sure that everything lined up correctly. Since the fabric had just a little bit of a fray to it, I decided to use a French seam on most of the seams, including the sleeves. So yeah, I was not very happy with this fabric choice for the cuffs while I was wearing the cosplay. But I was pretty happy I got to put my heavy-duty sewing machine to the test and proudly find out that she's up to the task.
Okay, now that I have most of the shirt accounted for, I'm going to turn my attention to the vest. It's thunderstorming outside. For this part, I have one of the latest patterns from Mood, the Valerie vest. This already has the deeper V-neck I need for this cosplay, and with a little adjustment at the shoulder and tweaking of the length of the vest, I think it's gonna be perfect.
For the vest, I mostly used a lighter purple cotton shirting fabric, and for the collar and lapels, I used a dark purple linen look blend fabric. Much better choices for the Atlanta heat, but too little too late, I'm afraid, since this will be worn over the not-so-breathable shirt. Okay, here we are with the shirt and the vest together. Definitely a few things I'm still looking at tweaking, but overall, like, the fit is relatively good, and I think that I can very much get away with going like this. If I have time, I will come back and make some adjustments, such as like getting the sleeve length a little bit better on these. They're a little short, but I have plenty of leftover fabric in the sleeve cuff, so I think I can just move it down potentially a couple inches. And then the front corners of the vest are not quite as pointed as they are meant to be. And then there is a little extra volume like in the vest here that if I have time, once again, if I have time, I will come back and just kind of take in from the side seams to see if I can get it a little more cinched. Also, this is just a placeholder belt. I am gonna come back and make a belt that matches the cuffs to kind of tie it all in together. That said, I am pretty happy with what we have here. It's definitely wearable. I'm pretty happy with the colors, considering I just was able to find these at my local craft store. So at this point, I think we're ready to tackle the pants. Now, these should be relatively easy. I'm gonna use the Linda pants pattern from Mood, and I'm planning to use elastic at the waist and at the cuffs of the pants. I'm thinking when I wear them, I'll just place the elastic just inside the boot, so kind of pulled up a little bit so that they bunch a little and create that extra volume like Scanlan's pants have. I'm thinking it should be pretty easy to throw together, so let's get to sewing. These pants were also made using a cotton linen blend, which was super easy to work with. And don't worry, I remembered to add pockets. The elastic ended up not being quite tight enough for me to use those pockets effectively, but Allie pinned me up a bit tighter, so all was well in the end.
You can tell I'm rushing because I sewed the pant legs together. These are supposed to be separated. This is where my legs are supposed to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and unpick that and then get back to it. We're not in a rush. Relax. Okay, I just got back from my weekend trip for the opening day at the Maryland Renaissance Fair. If you want to see my video on that and the making of my goth girlfriend meets female armor trope chainmail look, feel free to watch last week's video. But now I need to buckle down and finish this wig. I am leaving in 2 days for DragonCon and I haven't even started. So I am going to turn this wig into Scanlan's hair. First things first, I need to cut this a little bit shorter, and then I can use those leftover trimmings to get those sideburns and a little bit of the extra shape at the top. Cutting hair always makes me so nervous, but I literally don't have time to be afraid, so let's get started.
I tried out a few different techniques when it came to making wefts using Ultra Hold styling gel, but ended up not using any of the wefts that I made here. Rather, I just teased together sections of hair on the wig into sideburns, and used Got2b hairspray to hold them in place. I'm glad I went through this process though, and learned how to prep wefts for future projects, and I'm sure I can come up with some sort of use for these leftovers. Rather than use those glued wefts to alter the front hairline, I chose to just pluck the existing hairline back. I think it made for a more natural look in the end.
Okay, so I've been plucking the hairline for a while now, but I'm realizing that that's something I can do while I'm traveling to the con, or when we get down to the con. We're gonna get there a day or two early, so I'm actually gonna switch gears now and focus on teasing up a little bit of the front to get that little bit of a hair moment that Scanlan is having. And then once I do that, I think it's just a little finagling of the sideburns and I'll have myself a wig.
for
Allie's cosplay.
And that's a wrap on Scanlan Shorthalt. What is today? Saturday? We made it halfway through Saturday.
I'm tired.
This was surprisingly one of the harder cosplays we've done so far, considering the fact that I've put on more complicated cosplays thus far, like my Dune still bunny suit. You can check out the video of me making the bunny suit for that in a previous video. But yeah, I didn't leave myself quite enough time for getting ready, so we were kind of rushing to get to the Critical Role meetup. Turns out, while I really prioritized like cotton and linen materials for my vest and my pants, I did not for the actual shirt, and it is very warm, specifically the leather cuffs, which, what a choice I've made. That said, I'm still so happy with how this all turned out. I think I pretty closely nailed the colors of everything, even though I didn't spend much time even considering dyeing to get to the right colors. But even though he was kind of uncomfortable because of how warm everything is, it was still heartwarming to be recognized, have his character recognized, especially with Allie's pike. We got a lot of nice comments and a lot of people yelling Scanlan's hand at me. So that was really, really fun. Probably my favorite part of the whole con experience is kind of sharing an admiration and appreciation for a character. So objective achieved. I am very happy with the wig. Considering I didn't spend hours and hours on it, I think it came out pretty dang close to perfect, and it's held up really nicely. And I'm looking forward to trying to use it for future cosplays as well. I definitely have a few characters in mind.
I have a surprising amount of footage from DragonCon and was thinking of putting together a vlog for you. Drop a comment if you want to see more from that weekend. And just another huge shout out to my con buddy Allie for cosplaying this duo with me and for taking pictures and just being a grounding force for us as we navigated our first DragonCon together. And thanks for reminding me to drink water. Did I mention it was very warm?
Regardless of how warm the costume is, I still had so much fun making it and so much fun wearing it at DragonCon. And if you had as much fun as I did, it would mean the world to me if you would like and subscribe. And if you do, I'll see you in 2 weeks for my next video. Take care.